Sorry, say I don't have that one as well.
Lecture 9.
Lecture 9 is. Tanasha Oshila, mnawo eri inni pamwe ndiri kungorasikira panapa.
No, lecture 9 and number 1 was not shared.
Okay.
I think I have it. Ndazotumirwa memanja. Ndatumirwa last one.
Lecture 1 yatumirwa
Okay,
Ada.
so it's in the there's a zip fold.
Is it fold?
There's a zipped folder rakanzi chats randatumirana 1736.
Oh, okay.
So we are using lecture 9 charts new inside. There are a lot of files there. Some of them you can just go through them at your own spare time, but I've consolidated everything into one
Okay.
mostly. So you can download that and we open lecture 9 charts new. Okay. So this data is for solid woodworks furniture sales. We are going to go back to this, but pivot tables and charts, we are going to go back. Let me start with the basic charts. Okay, here we have a data set. Suppose you are working for a bank or microfinance and you have channel sales that you are doing. Maybe you are a branch manager. You want to monitor your sales for your channels, or it's retail. You have your lines. Maybe you have liquor, you have fast foods, you have what, and these are sales over time, and you want to monitor that and to see how it's performing month over month. What you can do is you can select your table, you select here, right arrow, shift and down, where you are clicking control and shift, right and down. So we want to do the basic chart. Suppose you want to visualize this. This is time. This is data over time, so we can simply use what? We can simply use can call this channel sales over time. So I would want to bold, like what we did, we want to bold my title, and on the formatting here, I want to put this. Maybe for this one as well, I would want to put a border on the title like this. So for here, if I come here, I want to have maybe axis titles, sales in what, in dollars, we can call it revenue. Here it's time, and automatically it has picked what, a legend. So a legend here, which is this, which is telling us what does color codes mean. So on the legend, we can even say we want it on top or bottom. We can even say we want it on the left, right, or top or right, somewhere here, but I may need it on the right there, right? So that's it. Let's see other formatting options that are there. So when you don't understand, please, you can interrupt so that to famba test. You can even include data labels, but in some instances they become mess, like this instance. So we just remove them. Think that's it. So we can now have our chart like this. If you want to change it, you can just come to the chart design, change the chart. Maybe you want a combo, or you just want to change it to a column chart. something like this, it's still fine. I think this one is still clear as well, and it's beautiful. So the idea here is not just to throw charts anyhow. They should tell a story and not be difficult for the reader to understand. Maybe you can then put some comments on why these spikes. So by so doing, we are seeing the trends of ourselves, and we can discover areas where there are problems. That's the purpose of charts. So here it's a what? It's a bar chart that we want to demonstrate. So we now have our bar charts here. We can move on to pie charts. So under pie charts, I think there are some rules that govern how and what chart you should select. Pie charts are usually good for data with low dimensions. When you have more than 5, maybe you need to choose another type of chart. And on pie charts, we have 2 categories, as you can see. We have a donut chart and the normal chart. So suppose you want to visualize these branch cells. Okay. Suppose I just want to visualize my January. I can come here and say insert. Here, pie chart, I can select this. And it's simple and straightforward. And you see, you can then do a rename, but maybe I would want to include what? Data labels. And on the data labels, there's a right option there for all these options. And if you come to more options, there are some options that you can add. For example, where do you want it? On the sender, inside, outside? Maybe I want it on the sender. I want to include a legend key as well. Maybe I want to include a percentage as well to see how and what percentage is it, like this. Okay, maybe I will then come and select this on the size here. Okay, the size. So you can do a lot of formatting, but you can do the filling in and on the text option, text outline, you can do a lot here. So that's a simple what? That's a simple pie chart. But suppose you now have dimensions. Maybe you have some few months going this way. Suppose you want to do now for January and February, you can then select all of them, insert pie chart, and select donut. So a donut will then visualize this month in a ring like men, like this. So this is Pindura January. So the first month will be inside, and going outside, there are the other columns that are following. But usually it's not recommended to use this pie chart for those complicated visuals. And you can do the formatting as usual, among other things that you can do. Okay, any questions there? Hello?
No question from my side.
It's clear.
This was clear.
Perfect. So we also have these cells. Maybe suppose you are a sales agent who is doing airtime sales, and you want to see how your 2 lines are performing. maybe you want to do a line chart, you can just simply do this. Okay, you now have what? Your simple line chart, right? So by mere looking, you can see that net 1 is usually above Econet airtime, right? But suppose you are now want to plot some trends to see how this is happening, a trend for net 1 to see how is it behaving generally. You can see that it's constant. And another trend, let's see for net 1, for Econet, you can see that for Econet is also constant, right? The seasonality, but generally there is a stable pattern that they are following. Okay, and you can do data labels, error bars, grid lines, among other things that you can do. So it's that simple to use a straight line. So for statistical, those who will be doing research, you can include statistical graphs like histograms to see distribution. Suppose you are doing your research, I think these ones are usually used when you are doing research. Okay, insert here statistical chart, histograms. So you would have your histogram. So it's showing between 15 to 24.9. That's what. So it's putting the data in bands to see how is it distributed. But there are some changes that you can do to this, where you can change a lot of things. Suppose you want to increase or to reduce the number of your beans, you can as well do that. So I just thought I should explain this, but usually you don't use this. But when you want to see the distribution of your data, to see how is my data distributed across the population, you can then use this one. Then scatter plots. You want to determine the relationship as well as determine outliers. The relationship between, for example, height and weight of students in a class. Though this may be relevant in business or irrelevant, but it's good for explanation, right? We select our two categories. Insert, maybe here we can select a trend line to see general that's how are these two related. They are related in a positive way because that line is going up. But to see now the strength of the relationship, you can then click here and say display. If you click the line and say display the equation on the chart, let's see the equation. Y is equals to mx plus c, the simple O level mathematics. Y equals to mx plus c, y, m that's 0.41, 2x plus c is 7.1, the coefficient, right? So during our form 4, we were told that the m represents what? The gradient, right? I think 0.0 to 0.3, that's weak. 0.3 up to 0.5, I think that's moderate. 0.5, maybe up to 0.6 or 7. I'm not sure of the ranges. It's what it is strong. So for this one, we can say maybe it's a moderate positive relationship somewhere there, right? To see how these two are related to each other. So that equation is very important, the simple O level mathematics. And the R squared as well can be displayed there. Okay. In finance, the waterfall chart. Suppose you have your balance sheet or your income statement or a profit statement of profit and loss, right? You can visualize this using what? Using a waterfall chart. can come here. This is the waterfall chart. Right? You can see. So let me explain how this is doing. What this is doing. Right? You have your profit and loss, and you want to see how are these items contributing. So you can see we have revenue at first. We have cost of goods sold. You can see the blue is a positive, and the yellow is what is a negative. Of course, you can even change the colors, right? So you can see how it's contributing up to a point where we have profit, that we have negative profit after tax. And suppose we reduce cost of goods sold maybe to 25,000. Let's see how this affects. Let me insert again. Still, okay. Let's reduce operating expense. Oh, it's not. Oh, this formula is not working. Okay, it's okay, Bob. Something is wrong with them. So the values are not updating. But the whole idea is to show how each part is contributing, is affecting the total. So at the end, we have that. Okay. So that's it on waterfall. I think they are important, especially for the finance people. 3D charts. But you must use this sparingly. You have multi-dimensional. You can see that you have 3 dimensions here. We have the value, we have the quarter, we have the channel, right? So you can use these type of charts where you have multi-dimensions. These are the 3D. You can click here and you have your 3D chart. But in most cases, the DigiPay that you can see at the end there is superimposed, and you can see that in quarter 3 what number it was. So that's one of the disadvantages of using the area chart. But it's a good chart, especially if you find a good case to use it. Right? Spark lines. I introduced these spark lines when we started. Clear or condense. Not clearing. Let me delete. Not clearing. Right, spark lines. This is a perfect symbol data set. So let me format this into. I want them to be all numbers. Okay, so that it's clear. Right. Suppose you have your cells. Your data is going horizontal, right? And you want to display a chart right at the side here, without necessarily creating those charts. So we can insert spark lines or columns or win and loss, but I usually prefer lines, right? So you can come to insert them. So what it will do is, for the location range, it will select where you are placing your cursor, but you need to select where the data is starting and ending. Only one row like this, and you have what? You have your sparkline. So what I usually like there is to include markers so that it's clear, so that you can clearly see the point. So what I will just do is I'll drag it down. So I have what? My sparkline. I can even drag it down to these areas. So that wherever it's data. So by just observing, we can't see the pattern here to say this shop in Lupane, how is it performing over time, and this in Bulawayo, this in Javan, we can't see how it's performing over time. So maybe by using these slicer, these sparklines, maybe I'll include borders on this column. Is it possible? Right, like this. But you then need to do some extra formatting. But let me remove. I'll just work with what's there. And suppose I want this to have somewhat row height. I can select the rows and click here and come to row height and say maybe I need it to be 30. I need the row height to be what? To be 30, so that they are uniform. But I can see that maybe the grand total, we reached a peak somewhere around mid-year, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, somewhere around mid-year in June, we had the peak. Then it went down in August and started to pick up. But I can't see it by just looking. I would have to see, maybe to compare all these numbers. So they help to cement the whole idea. You can even change this to columns, but columns, they don't come out well, or even win and loss, but these don't come out well. But usually the lines, they work better. And you can even change the colors here, and you can even change the weight of the sparkline. You can make it thicker. Yeah, I think this is too much. Maybe let's put still too thick. Maybe let's put 1.5. I think 1.5 is great. So we now have what? Our sparkline, and you can clearly see. So that's it on these charts. Any questions? I would want to move with you. No one should be left behind. Sheila, are you still there?
Yes, I'm still there. I'm following.
Sukubatika.
Yes, Rubatika.
Perfect. Feli, are you okay?
Yeah, yes, I'm okay. Thank you.
Do you have anywhere where you can use this?
Yeah, I can use it when analyzing some cane figures for different farmers by month.
Okay. So your data will have your months as columns, and so these are the farmers' names, right?
Yes, in column B. Yes.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. So let's go to pivot charts. But from the poll that we did right at first, it seemed all of us might have used pivot charts at some point in time, right? But suppose you have to go for an interview and it's practical, or they will ask you Excel questions. You won't miss a question on pivot charts and tables and lookup formulas like VLOOKUP, XLOOKUP, and HLOOKUP. And I've seen maybe job adverts of late, they want formulas like index match and index match. So maybe it's one of the key concepts that you should master, the concept of pivot tables, right? So let's demonstrate. So we have our huge data set of cells. This is a company that sells furniture, solid wood works furniture cells. And suppose these are million cells and you want to summarize it. So you have your data set like this. So what you have to do is you come here, you format this as a table, you come here, Control Shift right, Control Shift down, and you can see that you have about 900 something rows. So I'll come at home and format as a table. Maybe let me change, I'll format it maybe like this one, right? What happened here? Okay, so I have my data set there. Now I want to summarize and analyze this data using pivot tables and pivot charts. But now that I formatted this as a table, I don't need to select. I can select anyway within this within this table. You see, I've left the salesperson. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. So I can select anywhere within the table. I'll come to insert. Right. So on pivot tables, maybe you don't have any idea of how they work, or how you should drag the rows and columns into their respective places. So here, there's an option where here, if your Excel maybe it's 2016 or better, there is option for recommended pivot tables. Based on this table, there is what Excel is already predicting. So these are some of the tables. For example, this one, which is a summary by region. This is a summary. Sales item cost by region. Of course, this won't be useful, but we may need to know the total cost by region, items sold by region, total cost by region, sales items. Okay, I think this one is good. There's number of items, cost, and total cost per person. Okay, cost. There is this cost by product. So you would just maybe select just to click. So what you just need to do is just to click here and click OK. You now have your table. Okay, right? But what I usually do is I create my own. Right, so selecting here, I come to insert. I usually like to use this combination of pivot chart and table. So table 2. Okay, so you can even choose if you want it on a new sheet, right? So yeah, maybe I want to analyze total 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 cost per salesperson, or we can assume these are sales like this. I now have my chart and a table at the same time. Okay, and I can do a number of formatting where I can hide fields etc, and I can even per person per region, something like this, but it will be cluttered. But maybe we can start with the region, then salesperson. Something like this will work. Okay, maybe by customer, right? And you can do like what we did, the formatting, data labels, can include them, and you can even say, sorry, we don't want by customer, we want by date, and we want number of items sold per. So on this, you can even change this chart. Maybe if it's this, I need a line chart, and I need this one with markers. So the moment I click the date, you see that it includes other date parts, which is month, year, and quarter, right? So what you can then do is on this plus sign, you can then drill down even up to a day. But so for this one, at day granularity level, you can use it to do anomaly detection. For now, on this day, there was a spike. What happened? Maybe these spikes and these bottoms, you can use this to do some anomaly detection. But when you want to collapse, you click this negative sign and you have your chart there. So you can do a lot. And suppose you want to include a filter. Suppose you want to filter by region, you can drag your region and put it in the filters. So it will be here, and you can even click here, and maybe suppose I want to remove this, and my chart will respond accordingly. So you will see that on this one, you have what? You have a field. Okay. So that's it. You can even then bring those what? Slicers. You can then go here, slicers. Maybe you want, let me maybe use one, maybe for demonstration purposes. So it's taking time because the data is now what? It's now huge, and it's saying here running slicer what? Slicer operation. Any questions? So maybe let's put it here. This is not working here. So I think it works on the key on those common charts. Yeah, it's taking time, but you can still use what? These slicers. So that's it. Maybe lastly on the charts, before we call it a day. Yeah, sorry. It's now. I hope it won't crash. I wanted to talk about chart selection principles. Right. So these are some of the storytelling principles, and I think we discussed about this. One idea per chart. Do not clutter. Your key idea first, right? So this is maybe the guideline on how and what chart to use at a particular point in time. For example, bar charts, you are comparing quantities across categories. Example, comparing sales of different products. A line chart, short trend over time. Wherever you are dealing with time, usually a line chart is good. A pie chart, highlight proportion and percentages. Illustrate the breakdown of expense in a budget, right? Scatter plots represent relationships between variables. For example, identify correlation between marketing spending and return on investment. Then in histograms, they visualize the distribution of data, show the age distribution of survey respondents. Then the radar chart, the map, the heat map, bubble chart, and donut chart. And there are many charts that you can use. So in short, that's how we do it. And suppose you would want to build a dashboard in, I think there's a question on dashboard. You want to build a dashboard on charts. You can then create your nice, maybe space. Maybe I'll do this. Maybe like this. Then I'll start to bring in my different charts there. Maybe I bring this. And you can even make a dynamic chart where you'll be just updating your data. If I want to put it here, I will reduce its size. Maybe I will come here and make this center. Maybe I'll give it a name, sales dash. Sales analysis. Something like this. And maybe that will be your title. And you can even put dynamic, and you can pull all other charts that you would want to include there. You can pick them and drop them here. And you end up having, even if the data changes on the source, the chart will be updated. So you can create your nice dashboard with some slicers, etc. So I think you see it on the question, but basically that's how you can do it. Questions? I'll go one by one. Tanasha, do you have any question?
I don't have any question.
Rubatika.
Yeah, zviri kubatika.
Good. Feli and Sheila.
No questions from me.
No question from me.
It's clear, loud and clear.
Loud and clear.
Yes.
Perfect. So